What is up, ladies and gentlemen? NYK31 here, Madden 18. This is an online CFM game using the Texans here, serving as the backdrop for this video. Super Bowl Sunday morning. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Hope you guys enjoy the day. Those of you with friends, hopefully all of you have friends. I shouldn't say stuff like that. Hopefully you enjoy the game, the company, and all that good stuff. But anyhow, here we go. Have some compelling storylines as we usually do during Super Bowls. You have the Patriots in the Brady Belichick era going for ring number 6, which would be a feat that has been unprecedented in NFL history and something that we won't see in this modern era anytime in the near future. That kind of longevity when it comes to head coach, quarterback stability, and just a sustained system of excellence year after year after year after year. As a result of that, and combined with front office competence, you've seen these playoffs and how these coaches screw up these games. You see these front offices do these insane asylum trades and free agent signings. You see teams do what the Redskins just did. They trade a third-round pick. They trade Kendall Fuller, a pretty good young corner, to KC for Captain Game Manager Alex Smith, who I happen to like. I'm an Alex Smith fan. But he's 4 years older than the quarterback that you've had. And on top of that, you're paying him now close to $100 million. You see teams do trades like that, signings like that, all of the time. I have a couple of theories. One is that they're able to do things like draft guys like Trey Flowers in the 4th round, who's every bit as good as a first-round pick, but for whatever reason, they have a knack of picking guys because they're used to picking late. They get a ton of value out of their draft picks, which enables them to pay guys who play to a first-round level significantly less for a few years, which is a huge advantage. That's a huge bonus for them. They also fleece people on trades on the regular for a couple of reasons. One, they have a knack for getting guys or acquiring guys when their market value is at a dip. Or they take advantage of a team's incompetence or desperation because they're in a bad cap situation. Brandon Cooks was a combination of both those things. They got him for nothing because of that. And they're able to get guys, or they have been able to get guys like Corey Dillon and Randy Moss for nothing because their value is at a low because they were floundering in a dysfunctional environment. And they combine that with having the discipline to know what they want from a player in a given role and sticking with it. And they never deviate from their mold. Belichick is identical to Nick Saban in that regard. Saban does the exact same thing. It's no coincidence that Alabama and New England are basically carbon copies of each other. Saban and Belichick are clones. It's like they were both, hatched from a pod or something. Someone brought up a point. I can't remember who it was, but it was an excellent point that I hadn't previously thought of before. But it was an excellent observation. Have you ever noticed that Alabama's players, they all look alike? All the receivers look the same. They all look like either Julio Jones or Amari Cooper. The backs all look like Mark Ingram. The quarterbacks all have the exact same personality. They're all modest, unselfish, extension of the coaching staff guys who don't give a damn about personal statistics. All the linebackers look like C.J. Mosley. The Pats are the exact same way. Their linebackers are always these heady, instinctive guys like Vrabel, Brewski, Hightower that are always around the football at the right time. You always have two backs in the same mold. You have your power back going back to Dillon, Lawrence Maroney, Jarvis Green Ellis, Antoine Smith, and you have your back that's basically an extra receiver. Kevin Falk, Rex Burkhead, Dion Lewis. Lewis can actually fill a little bit of both roles, actually. And you also have, a guy like James White. You have your downfield receiving mismatch, Brandon Lloyd, Randy Moss, Hernandez, Gronk. You had your speedster, your Deion Branch, your Brandon Cooks, the quick, shifty slot receiver that catches everything, Wes Welker, Brandon Tate, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. Over and over and over and over again. The parts change, but they do the same things if they're playing the same roles, so it just continues to click. So when the coordinators come and go and players come and go, you never have a lack of continuity because the coach and his philosophy and the great quarterback, they never change. It's all insanely annoying. Really, really annoying. It should be the damn Jags in this game. Here's here's the thing about what you need to beat the Patriots. You have to remain who you are. It's like what happens when these teams get a lead on them. You can almost see them saying, "Oh my God, we're up. What do we do now? Let's get this clock down to 000 as fast as we possibly can." And then they get stupid. Mike Martz using Marshall Falk as a decoy for half the game. Dan Quinn, despite the fact he would not run the ball in the second half, had a sequence when there were still 7 minutes left to go in the game where where the Falcons went, holding penalty, incomplete pass, sack, punt, where if you just slam the ball on the line of scrimmage 3 times, you kick the field goal, and the Pats will run out of possessions. When Julio Jones made that insane catch on the sideline, Bill Belichick, he was pitching a fit because he knew the damn game was over. But no. Then you have the Jags. I don't think Corey Grant touched the field the entire second half when they were just ripping them with him out of the backfield off a play action. He was the fastest guy in the field when he was in the game. They fell into this predictable pattern of shotgun outside zone, pass, punt. They start playing their corners 8 yards off of the receivers. They go brain dead on 3rd and 18. And there you go. You got to stay who you are. Be you and live with it. Now, let's go to Philly. I didn't see the way the NFC Championship game went coming. I thought the Vikings would win the game. If the Eagles won it, would I have been shocked? No. But the way they won the game in just a complete boat race just shocked me. I did not think that game was going to go that way in the least. Now, if you recall, way back in the beginning of the year, I said when I was doing my quarterback rankings that I said there was a chance that this would be a year where Carson Wentz and the Eagles as a whole could arrive ahead of schedule. And really, they did. Carson Wentz was the MVP of the league, in my opinion, before he went down. The kid is the goods. I love what they do offensively, combining, the Andy Reid stuff that you would expect out of Doug Peterson with, what Wentz does well, which you're seeing more and more in the league now. And really what they've continued to do with Nick Foles. What they've essentially done with Foles is say to themselves, wait a minute, when he was here last time running Chip's stuff, he played great. Why don't we put that stuff back in? I mean, they were already implementing a lot of that spread stuff with Carson anyway, but with Foles, they've gone into that damn near exclusively. And it makes sense, it's smart. Kudos to Peterson for not being stubborn and realizing what he has to do to get the best out of what he has. I think if Wentz was playing in the game, the Eagles would be favored. And I still think they can win the game. I think there's a couple of ways this game has to go in order for that to happen. I think this has to be a LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi game. I think they have to run the ball well. And you can run the ball in the pass. The Pats' front seven, it's not that great. If they're not in a bare front, you can certainly, move the ball on them. And I think the approach Jacksonville had in the second half and also what they have at wide receiver, what they had at wide receiver, kind of masked the fact that Malcolm Butler and Stephon Gilmore, you can make plays on them. Butler is going to steal money from somebody this offseason, guaranteed. But yeah, what the Eagles have going for them at wide receiver with Alshon Jeffrey and Aguilar, and you throw in Zach Ertz at tight end, they got some guys who I think can make plays out in the field. I think Zach Ertz is going to be slapped with the old cone bracket that they love to do, and they're going to need to win with Aguilar and Jeffrey down the field. I think they're going to have to do. They're going to have to be very careful with the RPO game. The Patriots are excellent at disguising who their hole defenders are. Sometimes there are multiple hole defenders. They'll play a jump concept where a corner trailing a shallow cross will peel off to become the robber backside, and the robber safety will pick up the receiver dragging across the field. They'll play a cross robber where they'll have the single high safety, and the robber that you think is playing in the hole actually peel out and take the back, and the guy initially assigned to take the back replaces him. They do some mental stuff as far as that goes. If I have time, I'll upload some all 22 of what it looks like. But that is really a good way to screw with an RPO offensive attack. What you want to do, you want to disrupt the QB's keys. The QB is going to be reading the motion of an outside backer, for example. And if he comes in to crash on the run, he leaves a passing lane right behind him. So what you do, you bring a robber into that vacated spot right behind him, or you play some kind of cut coverage where you have a safety or a corner buzz into the passing lane, and you have some very high pick six potential if the quarterback isn't keen on what's going on. Take a look at Ohio State's pick six of Sam Darnold in the Cotton Bowl as an example of what that would look like, as well as Notre Dame Miami. Miami completely destroyed Notre Dame's entire offense running those same type of concepts. So when that stuff gets defended, you got to be able to win down the field, make reads down the field, and make some plays. And I think opportunities will be there. Now, defensively, the Eagles have a lot of the same things going for them as the Jags do. The ability to generate pressure with a four-man pass rush, check. As far as bodies that they can rotate in and out of the game, I think they're actually deeper than the Jags, but their defensive line takes a back seat to no one. They got some good guys: Fletcher Cox, Barnett, the rookie, Brandon Graham, Chris Long's been playing well. They check that box. Pressure up the middle, Fletcher Cox, check. If Fletcher Cox is lifting in the backfield all game long, they're going to have a very tough time. He's as unblockable interior lineman as you'll find. Athletic linebackers that can play sideline to sideline and in space. Yep, got that. And Bradham and Kendricks, they check that box. Back end, where they can play tight man coverage. Darby and Mills, since they've both been getting healthy again. And you have Pat Robinson, who's been one of the best slot corners in the entire league this year, which is vital against that offense. Are they at the level of a Bouye and Ramsey? No, they're not, but they're good enough where they can contest routes and close space against that passing game, which you absolutely have to be able to do when it's called upon. But I do think the safeties are better than what the Jags roll out there with Gibson and Church. Philosophically on defense, there's some similarities. Schwartz is a guy who loves to generate pressure with 4. He also likes to bring 5 when he knows that he has a stress point or two on that offensive line or against that offensive line where he wants to force you to have to match up one-on-one or leave receiving options in to have to help. And he also loves to stunt. Watch for a lot of stunting going on. That can be a little boom or bust at times, because if you stunt and you stunt yourself out of a running lane, you got a back rampaging through your second level. But he loves his front 4 being active. Wide 9, stunts, slants. He likes having athletic pass rushers, forcing offensive linemen to account for them doing, exotic stuff on the fly like that. Coverage-wise, they're certainly more diverse than Jacksonville. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Jacksonville is basically the Pete Carroll system. Cover 3, cover 1, maybe some quarters here and there. That's damn near it. Don't think you're going to see too much cover 2 with Gronk out there unless you're damn sure that either Kendricks or Bradham can run with him. Probably best served stashing that until you're in the red zone. But I think defensively they have the tools to present the Patriots with the same kind or similar type of challenges that Jacksonville did. And really the key is, can you keep the Patriots to around 24 points or so? I think they have an excellent chance of doing that. And if you can do that, you're going to be in the game right until the very end. And from that point on, it just becomes a matter of making 1 or 2 more plays more than they do. And that's always the toughest part, because they got number 12 back there. And until he just grows old before our eyes, you got to assume he's going to be who he is until he's not. But anyway, I'm going to pick the Eagles to win the game, because picking the Pats is boring, and I don't pick the Pats to do anything ever because, 1, I'm a Jets fan, so for obvious reasons, I have an inherent bias, and 2, what fun is there picking the Pats all the time? I mean, come on, be adventurous every now and then. So I'm going to pick the Eagles by a score of 24-21. The Pats, with all their postseason winning, they rarely blow people out. most of their games come right down to the last couple of possessions. And you got a team here in the Eagles who, with Carson Wentz, I think are the best team in the league. Without Carson Wentz, I think that they're a better version, a more diverse version of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I see no reason why Philly cannot compete in this game, and I think Doug Peterson is a savvy enough and aggressive enough play caller where if he has him on the run, if he gets that opportunity, he'll keep him there. You gotta look out for him abandoning the run at times when they have to run the ball. You know, the apple does not fall too far from the Andy Reid tree in that respect, but I think they're going to be right there, and I think they're going to win the game. So there you go. Fly, Eagles, fly, and enjoy it. Hopefully I'm right. We'll see. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I will talk to you all later. Peace.